Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well, and I've got an update on the Myo Mashup card game for you guys. I'm going to be talking about the first ever ban list for the game. These bans are going to be taking effect starting on August 1st, 2026, so it's important to make sure you know these. And one thing to keep in mind is that these ban lists are for tournaments only, so if you're just interested in playing with the starter deck or you just want to play some more casual matches with your friends, you can do what you want. But this is just to know for the tournaments I'm going to be having in the future. All future tournaments will be abiding by the cards on this ban list. So just to kind of walk you through, there's gonna be multiple sections. There's gonna be talking about the banned cards, and then there's gonna be cards that are gonna be limited to 1 or 2 copies. So with that little preamble out of the way, let's get into it. So, kind of the first thing of note, there are no cards that are banned right now. So, right now you can still use any of the cards you want, but there are going to be quite a few cards that are restricted in the number of copies, and that's really what's going to be changing here. If in the future things are still too oppressive, even with the restrictions in place, I will consider putting a ban on those cards. But for now, let's get to the next section, which is the cards that are limited to 1. So first of all, these are the cards that are limited to only 1 copy apiece. By far, one of the most polarizing cards in set 1 was Destiny. It just gives a lot of advantage when it is played, and so as a result, Destiny is one of the first cards right away who had to be on the limited list, so you can only use 1 copy of her. Same with Shirk Deo here. It just is a very powerful card that for its cost, so it's going to be limited to 1 copy as well. And in kind of that similar fashion, so is Call of the Heroes, which is basically the only tutor in the game at this point. Perhaps if there ever comes a point to where there are more deck searching cards, then perhaps this will be able to move up to more copies. Other cards that are on here are Delta Warrior Blitz. Speaking of heroes, he's on here just because he's a very good removal card for very low cost, so he's going to be on here. Recycle Arm is also on here just because it can produce some pretty degenerative plays. If you play enough of them, you can essentially make games go on forever. And while some could argue that it's not the most powerful thing you could be doing, it kind of produces a play pattern I don't really want in the game, so I'm restricting it to 1 copy to hopefully curb that. Revival Rave is also kind of limited to 1 for a similar reason, just because it allows you to easily get back any character for a very low cost. And finally, Shadow Dragon is also limited to 1 as well. It's similar to Johnny Lockjaw Jones. It's a very powerful beat stick, but as some pointed out, its main ability that's meant to be a restriction only really comes into play under very specific circumstances, so I decided to just limit it to 1 copy. Johnny, who is similarly statted but has no abilities, is not going to be limited just because I think its elevated stats are meant to be its ability in a way, if that makes sense. Moving on from the single copy cards, we're going on to the semi-limited list, which is cards you can only have 2 copies of. And so of those cards, I've put both of the major removal pieces on here. Steady Shot and Burst Attack, you're limited to 2 copies of those. Similarly, Delta Warrior Arrow is on here just because she can easily bounce something to your opponent's hand while also putting a character onto your field. Delta Warrior Flora Sky is pretty flexible just because it allows you to either draw a card or easily ramp into more powerful things, so I've decided to restrict it to 2. But with the ramp coming in the new set, I don't think it'll be as big of a problem. Lock is also another piece of recovery, so I wanted to kind of restrict that as well. So it's also onto 2 copies. Similarly with Lumia, Assist, as many people have pointed out, is a little powerful, and I think Lumia is probably the most powerful of the assist givers just because of its 2 defense. There's also Chloe, but it only has 1 defense, so it's a little easier to take out, but I think Lumia is more likely to stick on the board, so it's going to be restricted to 2. Similar thing with Heroic Assembly, it just produces 2 assist creating characters and is a little too overbearing in some situations, so it's also going to be restricted to 2, as well as Redirect here. And that about does it for all of the changes to the ban list. So thank you very much for watching this. You can leave a like if you enjoyed, and definitely comment below if you agree or disagree with some of the bans on here, or some things you would change, or if you're happy with them or not, you can let me know that too. And I'll be sure to see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.